Hi, everybody. Um, so, I am here to talk about what it's like to speak your truth after divorce. And I'm really not sure what I am going to talk about. And I'll just wait here just a couple of minutes in case anybody wants to join me. But part of my doing live is that I don't even know if anybody's going to join me or not. So, that's okay if they don't, I guess. Yes, it's okay if they don't. So, yeah, I have been thinking about why I'm not talking about what it's like to speak my mind after divorce. And yeah, there are a couple of things I'm wanting to just say, and I'll just wait a couple more seconds here. So I'm just going to start. So, you know, I have been divorced for 2.5 years now, and I've been wanting to speak my truth and find my truth, but the truth is that I don't even know what that is. And so part of me feels like I should figure that out first before I should start talking. But another part of me is wanting to make sure I'm ready. And another part of me just wants to start the conversation. And I just want to start talking, and I just want to share the process in public. I want to be transparent about the whole thing in public. So I was doing a writing class, and interestingly enough, I started writing about this today. So this is a writing class where we do a 20-minute meditation to open ourselves up to anything that might come up, and not be afraid to expose ourselves. And one of the things that came up for me was, I'll just read some things that came up for me. I started writing, I long to find my voice. What does that even mean? Finding my voice. Haven't I always had one? Wasn't I born with one? Weren't we all? But in order to have a voice, I have to be connected to myself. What do I want? What do I want when I have always been told what I want? So that's the thing, is that I am ready to speak my truth, and I am ready to find my voice. But in order to find my voice, I have to know what my truth is. But I don't know what my truth is. But you know what? That's not true. That's not the truth. Part of me knows what that truth is. And a lot of me is afraid to speak it because I am afraid that I'm going to anger people, or I'm afraid that people won't like my truth. And I've spent so much of my life protecting myself and protecting other people, and not wanting to make waves, that I don't even know how to connect with myself sometimes. And I get easily influenced by other people's opinions, and I take that on as my truth. So, what does that even mean if you're not even sure of what your truth is? Do I even know my truth? But yeah, I can feel my truth, because when I feel excited and when I feel joyous, I know that I'm telling my truth. When I feel heaviness in my body, and when I feel nervous, like right now, I'm really nervous. When I feel nerves, and I know that I'm holding back, and I know that I'm not speaking my truth. So, but a big thing for me is, do I have the right? Do I have the right to even tell the truth about everything that happened in my marriage? And should I even? And how much should I share, right? Because for so long in my life, in my childhood, and in my marriage, I didn't even know that I was in emotionally and verbally abusive situations. And that's really hard for me to say in public. And it took me a couple of years to even realize that I was in these kind of relationships, because I felt my entire life that I was crazy, that I was always doing something wrong, that I just couldn't ever do anything right to make people happy. And in order to fix myself and what I saw as me being the problem, and I was told that I was the problem, I went to counselors, I went to therapists, I went to support groups to figure out what was wrong with me. Why didn't anybody want to hear what I had to say? Or why was I always saying something wrong? And yeah, so I just always felt like I didn't have the right to speak up and have the right to speak my truth. And whenever I did, people would tell me, "Oh, you don't mean that," or "I know what you meant. You don't even have to talk. I know what you mean. I know you. You're always like this, or you're always like that." So I began to depend on what other people thought of me as my truth. And so, how do we become ourselves? How am I how am I married 32 years and now I'm not? And how do I become myself? How do I know myself? So, how do I trust my own feelings? And what's coming up in me now is I really am trusting the fact that I need to say exactly what I feel and exactly how it was. And I feel like there are a lot of other women out there who don't know that they are in abusive relationships, emotionally, verbally abusive relationships, that they just feel like they're not doing something right. And I feel like there are a lot of women out there who feel unhappy in their relationships. Maybe they always have, but didn't listen to their intuition and got married anyway. Ooh, am I speaking about myself? Yes, maybe so. Maybe that's a truth. Maybe it's a truth that I knew from the beginning that something wasn't right with the relationship before I even got married, that I was getting married to serve a different purpose than the purpose of love. Yeah, I kind of feel like I knew that then. So maybe other women do too. Maybe other women just felt like they couldn't make a decision for themselves, that they weren't allowed to make a decision for themselves. And so they did things they thought they should do. Oh, yeah, he proposed. Maybe I should get married. I mean, does that sound crazy? Does that sound like the craziest thing in the whole world? I was 24 and I fell in love with him. And the thing is, I fell in love with him because he was charming and funny and witty and just sensitive and loving. And he reminded me of my dad. He reminded me of my father. And I was just going to say, he always hated when I said that. And that reminds me of what makes me feel like, do I have the right? Because what's my story and what is somebody else's story? And I don't know where that line is sometimes. Like, do I have the right to tell what, how my marriage was? And do I have the right to talk about um, the love and the abuse and the problems in the marriage, so that I can help other people and so that I can get to know myself? Or is that his story? So I am just learning how to tell my story without telling someone else's story. But maybe there are other women out there like me. And maybe there are other women out there who also, maybe their kids are grown and maybe their marriage has outlived its purpose, because my marriage definitely served my purpose for my growth. In fact, I feel like that is the whole entire reason we were together, is because he was my greatest teacher in silencing me so that I could learn how to find my voice, silencing me and keeping me in my place to such an extent that after decades, I was forced to leave that situation and see what it's like to be me without any outside influence. But, I just feel like we don't talk enough about it. And I think the conversation just needs to start. Like, women deserve to be respected as equals to men. Women, not only women, but men, everyone deserves to be heard and to be seen and to be respected and to be listened to. And the other reason I wanted to speak up right now is because after 2.5 years of grieving and sitting with the loss of my marriage, I have come to such a place of love and acceptance with it that anything I say right now is going to be out of that compassion and love and gratitude. So I feel like, there's no bitterness, there's no vindictiveness feeling anything about it. There's no blame coming from me at all. I love him still. And so I want to talk about how you can be in love with somebody at the same time feeling dismissed by them. And yeah, I want to talk about how we stay in situations like that, like where we're feeling dismissed, we're feeling unheard, we're feeling unseen, we're feeling small, yet we stay. Why do we stay? And I'm trying to figure that out myself. And see, trying to figure that out isn't even the term I want to use, because that's what I want. My heart. I just want to sit in my heart and let my heart tell me what it's all about. Because if I try to figure it out, that's trying to wrap my head around it, and that's not coming from my truth. And so, what am I doing if I don't tell the truth? What am I actually doing with this website, A Heart-Based Life, if I don't tell the truth when I realize the truth? So now that I realize how everything really was, and that I wasn't crazy, and that what I was searching for has always been out there. And this is what has come to light. And it all had to come trying to wrap my head around it and make sense of how I stayed, or why I stayed in that relationship, is not the way for me to get to my heart's truth and to my soul's truth. Because I believe that I was there in the relationship and I fell in love with my ex-husband because it was my soul's calling to do so, to teach me what I needed to learn, to grow and expand out of the relationship, so that I can be more connected to myself, learn how to feel my own feelings, learn that they're valid, and learn to be seen and heard from myself, by myself, and then to help other women. And when I first left my marriage, and when I first started to discover myself, I actually thought that's my purpose. That's my purpose, is to help other people. And then I became so focused on helping other people that I forgot about myself again. So what I was doing is I was taking the focus off of myself by trying to help others. So this is me right now trying to sit in the truth of not knowing what my truth is. It's trying to acknowledge where I am right now, allow myself to be where I am right now. And I want to be totally transparent where I am right now. Like I forgot who said this, but one thing that I try and ask myself every day now is, what is the greatest expression of myself that I can be today? And that makes me want to cry right now, because sometimes I don't know what is an expression of me. What is an expression of myself? Sometimes I feel like I don't even know myself well enough to answer that question. And I want to be able to just expand every day. That is my calling, to be so connected with myself that I answer that question right away. And the other thing that I like to think about myself is, what do I need to become? And my friend and transformational teacher, Kyle Cease, does an Evolving Out Loud. And I did a flow group with him, which is a private 3-day weekend retreat. with him and 3 other women. So it's basically one-on-one. But he says a lot of the time, he says, if you're reaching and searching and grasping for something, then you aren't what you need to be to actually get that. Because what do you need to become so that instead of grasping for something, it just comes to you and it surrounds you, because you are in the same vibration of that thing, whatever that thing is that you want. So what do I need to become to find my truth, to know what my truth is, to tell that truth, to find my voice? What do I need to become to find that? I need to be a person who puts herself out there. I need to be the person who is finding her voice. I need to be that person who is willing to tell the truth. And I need to be brave, and I need to not know what's going to happen next. And yeah, so what am I doing if I don't tell the truth? The other thing I was thinking too is that I always feel like I'm not ready. I need to be more prepared. I need to practice. I need to know what I'm going to say. Well, right now I don't know what I'm going to say. And I don't even know if anybody is watching this. So I don't think anybody's watching this because it's on my business page, and I'm putting on my business page. And I thought, oh, should I put it on my personal page? But I'm trying to develop my business page, because my business page is called A Heart-Based Life, and that's what I'm trying to live, and that's what I'm posting every thing I'm learning about myself, about my expansion. So I don't need to know like what I'm going to say, and I don't need to be prepared. And I want to break out of that mold of, I have to know what I'm doing first. I have to study this first. Just one more book, just one more course, just one more day of preparation. And so who do I need to be to not be that person? I need to be the person who has the courage to actually do something unprepared. And that's what I'm doing. So I don't even know if I'm doing any of this right. I don't even know if I'm posting it right on my business page. I don't even know if I'm sharing my business page on my personal page right. But all this stuff is what I'm going to learn as I go. And I'm willing to be embarrassed. I'm willing to put myself out there, and for other people to laugh at me, if they will, go ahead, and other people to make fun of me. I'm willing to like put myself out there, and I don't even care what anybody else thinks, because the most important thing is for me to be true to myself. And this is how I'm finding myself out. This is how I'm learning. I'm just going to do it. I don't want to keep myself small anymore. And not speaking my truth and not trying to find out what that truth is keeping myself small. And I am ready to expand. And I want to share something else that I discovered recently, because I have decided to come out of hiding. Like, I've always felt like I should hide my real feelings, that I should hide what I really want to say. I should be really careful of how I say it. I should be really careful not to make anyone else angry. I should be really careful not to hurt anybody else. But that's not who I want to be now, because the truth might hurt someone, but we're all grown-ups. And what if we can all take care of ourselves? What does it look like for us to speak up and let other people take care of themselves? So I have a business page, right? This Heart-Based Life fan page or business page, which is linked to my website, heartbasedlife.com, where I've been blogging for the last 2 years about what it's been like to leave a 32-year marriage, what it's been like to leave a man that I still loved, what it's been like to follow my intuition and this pull from the universe that was just asking me to leave, but I didn't know why, and I didn't know where I was going or what I was going to do and how things were going to unfold, who was going to be waiting for me, if anybody. It turns out I was going to be waiting for me. But I left even though I was scared to death. And what I've learned from that is to sit in all of my pain and sit in my fears and let that feeling be there to its fullest. And some of the greatest joys I've ever had in these last 2 years has been actually sitting in that pain, because what I found that is that when I sit in it, oh my God, I feel so alive. Even if I'm alive in pain and sorrow and grief and heartbreak, I find that when I feel it fully, I'm allowing it to be seen, and it just reaches a certain level, and then it just falls away. And then what's left is me, and what's left is space. And in that space, I have felt love and compassion come in, and understanding come in about why all this happened and why I left and everything. And if I had just ignored all those feelings and ignored that grief and pain and distracted myself, and I did for a while, I distracted myself with TV, I distracted myself with alcohol. And now I'm choosing not to do that, because I want to feel all my feelings and I want to feel everything. But if I had not allowed those things to come up and be seen, then I wouldn't be in the space I am now, in this day, in this moment right now, wanting to figure out what my truth is, and wanting to say what my voice, wanting to speak my voice. So my voice is, I'm not going to be small anymore. And my voice is, I don't care if I'm embarrassed. And my voice is, I'm going to figure out how freaking Facebook works. And I'm going to figure out how to reach other people that might want to know how I did this, and how I left the man I loved, and how I started over, and how I recently quit my job because it felt heavy to me, and how I'm willing to release anything that feels heavy to me and let it go, and see what happens when I open myself up to just what feels light and just what lights my soul up. Because, hey, Sylvia, how are you doing? Oh my God, I've been going for 20 minutes now trying to speak my truth, and I'm finally finding it, I think. But I decided to just put myself out there and be transparent about how hard it's been for me to actually find my truth and actually know what my voice is. So, yeah, it's not to be diminished. It's not to be spoken down to. It's a place where I am going to be in someone else's presence, and I'm going to hear them disagree with me, and I am going to say, great, that's awesome that you feel that way. We don't agree, and I don't feel that way. Instead of thinking, oh, wow, maybe I should think the way they think, you know? Yeah. So I'm in this space where I don't want to hide anymore, and I don't want to hide myself anymore. So I have this business page, right? And then I have this personal page, and then I have this professional life, right? This professional career. I'm a dental hygienist, and I have these professional people, the doctors and the other clinicians that I work with. So I've been trying to keep myself all these different people, keep myself like my professional dental person over here, and here's my I left the marriage and I'm finding myself person, and then here's my personal page where I go on hikes and I like go to parties and I show my happy self and my best self. And I don't want to be all these separate people anymore. I've decided that I don't want to hide anymore. I don't want to hide my feelings from anyone. So I'm just going to merge the whole thing. So this is why I'm doing this on my business page. Then I'm going to post this on my freaking personal page. And then I'm going to invite all my dental people to be my friends, the doctors, everybody, to be my friends and see who I really am. And then I will really see who falls away, who doesn't align with me anyway. And then I don't have to worry about not being myself anymore, right? So Kyle Cease, who I was talking about before, says, hope they all fall away. Dang, yeah, heck yeah, hope they all fall away, right? So, yeah, this other thing I highlighted, what I want to say is in this writing class that I took, what you do is you meditate for 20 minutes to open yourself up, and then you free write for 45 minutes. And some of the things that came into my head, which gave me the idea to do this live, was I wrote, but who am I if I'm on my own, by myself and in my own skin? I have to know this first, right? I have to know who I am first before I start talking. That I have to know what my truth is before I speak it. And what if I speak my truth and it angers people? What if I speak my truth and they don't like it? What if I speak my truth and they leave? But wait, now it doesn't matter if they leave, because who are they anyway? Who am I afraid of losing? There is only me. And I want to see who I am, because I won't leave. There is no one to abandon me anymore. Now it's me who I want to be seen by. This reminds me of something else that has come to me too. That oh, now I just lost my train of thought. Hold on. This is cool. My friend Lauren lost her train of thought in her life, but I'm going to keep going. Oh, abandonment. Yes. That's the big thing too, is because I feel like if I look somebody in the eye and I share my truth, that they will leave, because they always have. My experience in my life is that when I have been with people, especially men, oh my God, I'm going to say this, especially men, that when I have said how I felt and spoken my truth to them, they have left. They've actually turned away and walked out the door. And so what I'm realizing now is that those people who I have spoken my truth to weren't comfortable enough with their own feelings to hear someone else's truth, because it's too shocking to get that close to your soul, where it's just like, what are you doing? What are you saying? So they were so uncomfortable with their own connection to themselves that they could not listen to someone else's truth. So those are the people who I have chosen to speak my truth to. This past weekend, or 2 weeks ago now, I was at Kyle Cease's Evolving Out Loud event at the Dolby Theater in Los Angeles. And one of the exercises he had us do is he had us pick out a stranger in the crowd of 3,000 people. And he had us look into, thanks, Sylvia, look into their eyes and just say how we feel, not to explain it with any reason. I feel scared because I remember when my dad walked out the door when I was 3 years old, not to explain it like that, but just say how you feel. So here I am with this man, with this stranger. And I was just saying how I felt. I feel vulnerable right now. I feel afraid that you might not like what I am going to say if I tell you how I feel. I feel afraid that you're going to leave. And I feel scared to say my truth for the first time. I feel embarrassed to look someone in the eye. And so you just keep saying how you feel. And this man looked me in the eye, and he did not look away. He did not leave. And I was seen and heard. And I don't know if I was understood, but you know what? It didn't even matter to me whether I was understood or not, because I understood myself. And for the first time, I just felt like, oh my God, here is an open-hearted, open man who's listening to me. And it was the first, well, I lied. It wasn't the first time that's happened to me. Kyle Cease was actually the first, I'll say it here too. Kyle Cease was actually the first man I've ever been around. And that was in that private flow group that I was talking about earlier, where one of the exercises with him was to just, for 3 days, for 10 hours a day, anything anyone in that room said was seen, heard, understood, validated for 3 days. It was the first time I ever had that in my life. And so now, since this was a Kyle Cease event, everyone in that room was already transforming. They were already open and ready to be with another person and ready to hold space for another person and be there. And so here were a room of 3,000 people, a lot of them men, who were willing to listen and not walk away. And then I did that for him. And yeah, I thought, you know what, the first thing I thought was, oh my God, no way are there all these open-hearted men that actually exist. And then I was filled with joy, because I thought, oh, Oh my God, I knew it. I always knew it was out here. I always knew what I was looking for actually existed. And then immediately all this sadness came in because I was like, oh wow, the realization, the confirmation that it existed made me realize that I've gone without it for this long in my life. So, then I get feelings of being like, oh, it's so late in life to have realized all this, and it's so late in life to have left my marriage and all this stuff that it's all just awareness. And then I love that. And I love that because there's plenty of time. And I'm so grateful that I am a part of this community that is realizing any of this, because so many people go through their life without this awareness. And so I'm so grateful for that. So yeah, there are open-hearted men out there. I know there are now. I've seen proof of it. So yeah, now I'm ready to be exposed to those kind of men, not the kind of men that are threatened by our own connection with ourselves, that not the kind of men that need us to stay small in order for them to feel confident in themselves. That's not me anymore. And I'm not willing to do that anymore. So that's why I'm doing this without knowing what I'm going to say or do. So one of the other things that I wrote in this was funny. Emotional abuse confuses the mind. But it is right for my soul to speak out about all of this. But something that keeps coming up for me is, do I have the right? I must have written 3 times in this 45-minute writing exercise. Do I have the right? Do I have the right? Do I have the right? What if it hurts him? What if I'm protecting someone else and I never speak my truth? And then I realize that's not my job. That's not my job to protect someone else. We're all grown-ups and we can all speak our truth. And yeah, so here I am. That's it, I guess. That's all I have to say right now. Sylvia, thanks for listening, honey. And Katie. Oh, hi, Katie. Thanks. Yeah, this is the beginning of me just putting it out there, how I'm trying to find out what my voice really is, and just trusting that I don't have to know what that is before I actually put it out there. I can figure it out in public. I can figure it out. Oh, how do I feel? Oh, wow, Sylvia, I feel brave and I feel open, and I feel exposed, and I love that. I want to feel exposed, and I want to expose my whole self so that I can connect with the type of people who want to do that also, and who want to learn from other people who see now that the most important thing in life is self-connection. The most important thing in the world to help the planet and to help the world is self-connection. Because any time that I have a question about anything in my life, should I do this? Should I do that? What is my responsibility here? Who am I supposed to be there? When I have any questions about anything, if I'm in meditation, and meditation is the key to self-connection, when I'm in meditation and I ask any questions, show me what I need to know about my living situation right now. Show me what I need to know about my job right now. Show me what I need to know about being in this relationship right now. The answers always come. They're right in here inside of us. And all the answers we ever want to know are right here inside of us. And I know that now. I see that now. They weren't in the people who were in my life, who I was looking to for answers. The answers were inside of me. And I'm so grateful to know that now, because now I don't need anyone else's advice. I don't go to anyone else for advice. Did I ask anybody for advice before I went on here? No. I just went on here and I trusted myself that this was going to be the thing that I needed to do to start speaking my truth, and it was. So, yeah. All the answers are inside of you. And that's what I want to spread. That is the word I want to spread. So, you know what else I did? I started a meetup group. And the meetup group in San Francisco, it's called San Francisco Hiking and Heart-Based Transformation. And I want to combine two of the things I love, nature and transformation. And I want to start helping other women get to know themselves and connect with themselves. And I want to show other people that everything is inside of them and that they can find it too, and that their answers are their own personal experiences. Some people might not leave their relationships. Some people might stay, and that's great. That's great. Maybe if I knew how to connect to myself, I don't know, would I have left the marriage? I don't know. Right now, when I look back on it, yes, it was leading me to leave it. Yes, it was guiding me to leave it. But I just want to help other people connect to themselves and show them what's unfolded for me in my life since I learned how to connect to myself. And the other thing I did, holy crap, is I committed myself to start speaking about this in public. So, oh my God, right now my makeup is running and I don't even know what I look like, but oh yes, I do. I can see myself and I love myself. Yes, I don't even care because this is my truth. I don't always have perfect makeup on. But I committed to speaking. So I am just going to go into a public library and a community center, and I'm just going to start speaking about what it feels like to try and find your voice after divorce, and speak about self-connection and following your intuition and living your truth, whatever that might be. And this is what I'm just starting to do. So I think that's it. That's all I have to say right now. And if this speaks to anybody, please leave a comment and go to my website, A Heart-Based Life, and check it out. All right. Love you guys. And I will talk to you soon. Bye, Sylvia. I love you, honey. I love you. Bye.